Cursed by the old gods of Bethany, we are 5 immortals doomed to walk the earth until we complete our 1,001 tasks. After centuries of having our memories picked around, ready to complete our destiny and die. We are, for now, the Immortals. This is episode 70.
Woohoo!
Oh,
Woo.
yeah.
70 is a good number.
Nice. 2 times 5 times 7.
Weirdly, okay, this is actually something that irritates me about 70. So, I speak another language, which is French, and 70 is the first number in which French does a dumb thing, where it stops having numbers for, it doesn't have a number for 70 or for 90 that are themselves, it just says 60, 10, and then 90, which is even more frustrating, is 4 20s 10. where 80 is 4 20s, and it's so irritating.
See, Pedro,
but 60-10 for no reason.
What do you mean? Like, when we first start learning numbers as a kid, there's always that point where we're like, okay, 2011, 2012, 20...
Yeah, but, like, why not
does
start...
that work?
But, like, that makes sense. If it was always, like, if, for example, if for example, 30 in French was 2011, if 31 was 2011, that would make sense.
But
and
if
then it
we
was
do
all... But no, 70 is the one where it randomly starts doing that. And I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, just keep it for the last 2. Because if it happens all the time, then that is ridiculous.
I think my thing makes more sense.
See, Pedro is not only a math apologist, he is a French apologist. And definitely a French math apologist.
I would also like you to know that 70 is the atomic number of ytterbium, which is one of 2 different elements named after a Swedish town that starts with a YTT and I think is called Ytterba?
There's a yttrium.
Exactly.
There, which is,
yttrium and ytterbium are the 2.
Nice.
Look at that.
I think yttrium, you can make an alloy with yttrium that's a yttrium that is a superconductor.
Lee, do you worry that they just make up
70.
words to see if we're paying attention?
This is real.
They actually do.
Yttrium's real.
Yeah.
It's named after Ytterby, which is a place in Sweden.
Huh. Those Swedes.
And so is ytterbium, which is the one with the atomic number 70.
Here I was, so excited we hit like another 10 number. We've done this podcast for 70 times now.
And
That
everybody's
is
just
good.
so fucking mad
There are
about
actually
it.
Yeah.
there are actually 4 numbers named after that town. There are 4 elements named after that town because terbium and erbium are also named after ytterbium.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Who knew?
There's a coming tonight.
A what?
Coming
What?
tonight. It's like some molecule or something. I don't know. It's named after a city or a town in Massachusetts called Cummington. But because it's
I like
whatever, it's called.
That's actually kind of great.
Yep, coming tonight.
My dad works with genes, like human genes, and
Yes, humans wear jeans.
no genes with a G, and just like
That's not spelling it right.
there are you can name when you discover one, you get to name it, and so scientists name things really dumb, name genes really dumb shit all the time, and then one became really important, and so I believe it's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's named after Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's like a thing that appears in scientific papers on the regular. It's great.
That's fantastic.
That's
Anyway.
pretty awesome.
These are my totally irrelevant thoughts, but I thought they were funny.
We do a podcast.
I mean,
Yeah.
Not at
which
all
is
related
clear.
to numbers or chemicals.
No.
Not at all. It's a very simple podcast. We are just 5 immortal beings who are cursed to review the 1,001 movies, albums, food, songs, children's books, and television shows you must consume before you die. My name is Austin.
My name is Adam.
I'm Sarah?
I'm Lee.
My name is Pedro.
We were all over the place there. Sarah, are you sure you're Sarah?
Oh.
You had no
No,
confidence.
I was looking up to make sure that it was Sonic Hedgehog gene, and it is. It makes flies grow spikes, fruit
That's
flies,
badass.
and so it's a really important mutation to track other mutations. So it comes up all the fucking time in fruit fly experiments.
We're going to put a pin in that. We have to come back to the freaky spike flies.
I'm great.
Anywho, for those loyal listeners to the show, they all know that we are currently in the realm of the old gods trying to stop Bethany, who's using our reviews to power something evil. We killed her spy. Now we're just looking around this mysterious realm, trying to figure out what's what. And, end the curse, stop the bad person. And just mostly exploring. This is like that part in the video game that's not fun for the people to watch, where I just kind of like look at every room and open every door, and then go back to the main story. That's happening now with our lives.
Yeah, that's
So,
all right.
what did you guys find this week? Find any cool rooms?
I found a room with this cool, like, weird, like, thing, kind of like a gun, and I shot it, and then a hole opened up. Look over there. You see that hole in the wall?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
See this hole right here? Watch my arm. It goes in here. It goes out there.
Whoa.
You found a portal gun?
That cannot be good for your arm.
I'm sure it's
You must
fine.
be taking some fucking radiation damage there.
Of all of us, why does Pedro keep finding weapons?
It is a little
Pedro
concerning.
has a sword and a probably trademarked portal gun.
I mean, it's some sort of gun.
It's a
It sounds like a
dimensional,
portal gun.
geographical.
It sounds a lot like a gun from the video game Portal.
And Portal 2
No.
and Lego Dimensions.
Speaking of which, I actually found a room that just had a pedestal with a game called Half-Life 3 just sitting there.
Uh-huh.
And then I opened up the DVD case and there was nothing in it. And it was a lie.
That's crazy because last week I found, the future books of Game of Thrones, so even those exist in some reality.
Yeah, but no, Half-Life 3
never
exists
be
in
Half-Life.
no reality does Half-Life 3 exist.
That makes sense. I spent most of this week kind of walking down this hallway that kind of kept spiraling and kind of kept twisting across the axis, and kind of light kept getting brighter. It kept screaming. I was wondering why this hallway even existed in this place. What good does it do? I remember, it's like that scene in Galaxy Quest that I looked down the hallway and saw Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver from Galaxy Quest do that scene, and then I lost track of time and I came here.
Huh.
So I didn't get as much done this week because I spent most of it in a spiraling light sci-fi 90s movies reference thing. Sorry.
I found a room that's just grass. Just like everything's grass. It's where I am right now.
Wait,
Are there other things? Is it just like a lawn, or are there like things made of grass?
No,
Wait,
like
did you-
the walls are grass. The ceiling
Oh.
is grass.
Are you grass?
I'm not grass.
That's good.
Everything else is grass, though.
what kind of grass?
Just grass, like lawn grass, not the fun
Okay.
kind of grass. Jesus Christ, I wish.
We gotta find that room.
Yes.
I found a room that you open the door and then you step out and then I was on top of the peak, like at the peak of a mountain, and it was like, compared to some of the other rooms, kind of underwhelming. But I looked around and I wanted to say, huh, but instead, when I opened my mouth, With Arms Wide Open by Creed started playing,
Oh, that's awful.
and then I closed my mouth and it stopped.
That's horrifying.
I just
That's-
did the whole song.
That's wonderful.
So
I
just
hate
to
that
recap,
song so
none of
much.
us found Bethany.
No.
That's not
Unless
anything-
she was at the bottom of the mountain, but probably not.
I just
Double
found
check that
the
tomorrow.
Half-Life
I'll
box
check
and
that.
then I just cried on the floor for a while.
I heard a voice of someone like speaking to me in that room, sort of like through speakers. Or
I feel like the
something.
portal gun could be hella useful for finding Bethany
Yeah.
if we remember we have it, which we probably won't.
I feel
I
I
dropped
will. Wait, what?
I dropped it in one of the holes, so now it's just kind of going. Yeah, I tried catching it, but it's going real fast.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, that's there goes that plot thread. All right, it's pretty weird that we have not found anybody, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
real
this
weird.
is weird.
Super empty.
Outside
Why are
of you
you, like-
guys and the chickens, I haven't really found any other living
Yeah, are you like
thing.
okay, Lee? Like we only talk once a week on this podcast. Like, are you getting hella lonely?
Well, I mean, kind of. Like, it's kind of a nice little vacation. I did have 2 roommates, so
That's true. That's true.
kind of nice to
I
be
gotcha.
alone for a little while.
I gotcha.
A shower would be great, though.
Ooh, yeah. You can just roll around in the grass and then you'll smell like grass, which is better than BO.
That's
I-
true.
Guess marginally.
That's why
What
we
is
don't.
this podcast even?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
you
it's
think we
lost
would have
on
learned
me.
it by now?
No,
But,
it's over now.
You know, we do this thing. We're cursed. We got to review the 1001 things I mentioned earlier. And last week, if I remember correctly, we were assigned our next number because Adam's stab wound was bleeding and had a scroll in it that had the number 645.
I'm fine now.
Oh, yeah.
No scroll.
Okay, that's good.
So today on episode 70, we're going to review the 645th entry in all those 1001 books. The movie this week is Alien.
The album is Le Rouge by the Young Gods.
The food is Boldo Leaf.
The song is "Life in a Northern Town" by the Dream Academy.
The children's book is Gargling with Jelly by Brian Patton.
And the TV show is Dae Jang Geum, which is also known as Jewel of the Palace. But before we get to any of those, even though we're in this freaky landscape, we still like to have traditions. And the tradition is every 10 episodes, one of us gets to have a bonus review that is not about our curse. It is about something that should be on the list, but is not on one of the lists. And this time it is Sarah's turn to pick a bonus review. Your last one was The King of Kong. What did you choose this week, Sarah?
The best movie of all time, A Few Good Men by Aaron Sorkin.
Of course, you can have a copy of the transfer order for the file, Danny. I'm here to help in any way I can.
Thank you.
You believe that, don't you, Danny? That I'm here to help you in any way I can?
Of course.
Corporal will take you by personnel on your way out to the flight line, and you can have all the transfer orders that you want. But you have to ask me nicely.
I beg your pardon?
You have to ask me nicely. You see, Danny, I can deal with the bullets and the bombs and the blood. I don't want money, and I don't want medals. What I do want is for you to stand there in that faggoty white uniform and with your Harvard mouth extend me some fucking courtesy. You gotta ask me nicely.
Colonel Jessup, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer order. Sir.
No problem.
A Few Good Men is the best movie ever. Discuss.
That's not how the introductions work.
I mean, look.
Counterpoint, it's not.
It's a movie from 1992. It is based on a play. It stars Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, Jack Nicholson, Kevin Bacon,
Kevin Pollak.
everybody else that's ever been famous ever.
All the Kevins in Hollywood.
Mostly all the Kevins. It is about Christopher Guest. It is about
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer
Jack Bauer.
Yeah,
Cuba Gooding Jr. for one.
for like a second. Also Joshua Molina for like a second.
That was a shorter second.
It's great. It's about it's a courtroom drama about a court martial of two young men who accidentally kill another member of their platoon, after having been ordered to do an off the books discipline called the Code Red. It's the best movie ever, and I love it so much. Guys, this movie's really important to me. When I was growing up, this last time, my Nana, in the room that I stayed in whenever I visited my Nana, had a drawer full of VHSs. And for some reason, the two movies that were on VHS, commercials and all, and I still remember the commercials that were on, were The Firm and A Few Good Men.
Wait, commercials? So these were
taped off the television, yes.
So these are not even properly R-rated?
Probably not, no. So, I definitely didn't notice the time. So, The Firm and A Few Good Men. So, apparently my Nana had a thing for Tom Cruise, which is great. And I watched this movie so many times as a child, and I genuinely think it is the reason that I became a defense attorney, which has become my life's calling. And it's the best movie ever, and I love it. Discuss.
So, who hadn't seen this film?
I have not.
I had not.
Same.
All right.
Really?
Lee's already given a bit of a hint, so we're going to come back around to you. Adam, what did you think of A Few Good Men?
I enjoyed it. I think it had some good things to say. I'm really surprised that it's your favorite movie, Sarah, because it's so butch and masculine, and it's about men doing men things.
It is. It is a movie about forms of masculinity. Actually, Austin and I were just talking the other day about how I don't like movies about masculinity, except for this one. This is the best movie about masculinity, but yeah, no, you're right. It is. That's what this movie is about. It's about forms of masculinity, and how some of them are useless and evil, and some of them are worthwhile.
Mm.
So, but it's so curious because Tom Cruise's character. I've seen this movie like a dozen times. I really enjoy this film. But it's a bit of the observation of masculinity that, to me, works really well when you look at Jack Nicholson and when you look at the obsessive nature these people have with the code and how that makes them the best soldiers to a fault. But Tom Cruise has, in many ways, some of the worst elements of masculinity. And it's kind of interesting how they keep depicting him, because even when it's supposed to have, like, expositional dialogue about what a witness says, he has to be playing baseball at all times. Softball, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I like that it's not baseball. I really like that. It's softball. It's intramural softball for, like, his office. Not baseball. Let's be clear.
Because
he's an asshole.
Because he is an asshole. And the film,
the worst.
I think, doesn't really know how to treat him. But I want to get back to that a little bit. Pedro, what do you think of the film?
I liked it, surprisingly so, because, like, the entire time I just kept thinking, this is just a longer version of pick your procedural and throw in here.
It's an episode of Jag. It is a 2-hour-long episode of Jag.
It is exactly an episode of Jag.
No, it's not.
Um,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Tom Cruise was an asshole, and I didn't really like him, but I still did. The show was just a whatever show, but I still liked it. I don't know why. I'm not bored with it, but I mean, oddly good enough.
I would note that it predates Jag.
No, it does, and the creator of Jag cited it as a inspiration. Trust me, I went down the Jag Wikipedia hole this weekend while watching this movie.
Yeah! I've actually never seen Jag, but this just convinces me that I should watch Jag, because I
You
would
really
apparently
should.
love it.
Yeah.
I've never seen Jag, but I have seen The Good Wife and all of the Army or Navy episodes of The Good Wife are the best ones.
Yeah.
Because their way of doing court procedure is really different and hard to tackle.
It's very focused on truth, and I think that's something that Aaron Sorkin clearly likes about it, and it is definitely...
And clearly states.
Very clearly. He's big on that. But right, I mean, there are... Military justice is all about... is very straight to the point. It's, you're not supposed to play games. You're not supposed to dance around things. And Tom Cruise's character is sort of actually, in the end, the reason he's successful is because he threads the needle between doing what he's supposed to do and following procedure and making sure that he's not going too outside the box, and yet using the same narrative and emotional power that makes people good trial attorneys. I wrote a 15-page paper, I would note, for my trial advocacy class in law school about the trial advocacy strategies in this film, and I will not expound upon them here, but let me say that I have many thoughts. Most of them positive, except for the actual scene that is the "you can't handle the truth" scene, which is not something to try at home, kids. It doesn't literally ever go that way. Literally ever.
Well, in the reality of the film, because the trial is almost half the film. I mean, it's a really long portion of a surprisingly long movie. It kind of flew by every time. And
I hate long movies. I love this movie.
How long was it?
2.5 hours.
Or
Really?
2:20.
I would have guessed 90 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was that.
It goes fast.
But also it's Sorkin dialogue, so, it's probably a 5,000-page script. But with the trial, there's something really interesting about it, because the way that Rob Reiner chose to film it and the way that Sorkin chose to structure it, there's essentially very little case unless they get this thing at the end.
Yeah.
So all they have really, like, on an emotional, like, narrative level, they have to be passionate towards justice in a way where the very kind of small legal nuanced way to win isn't necessarily there. So when Tom Cruise is talking to a witness or cross-referencing a witness, cross-examining. Apologies.
Mm-hmm.
It is everything. It is an all or nothing. It is an emotional plea. It is not necessarily a logic trap or a setup like you see in other courtroom dramas. It really is more like Frank Capra, which is Sorkin's a fan of like, we need every little win we got because we're probably going to lose. And that, to me, is when Tom Cruise is at his best here. To to me, he is not at his best when he is mansplaining the whole movie.
I mean, right. But, although, wait, no. He's not mansplaining. That's not an accurate use of that term. Mansplaining is all about, like, he actually doesn't, at the beginning he does spend a fair amount of time thinking that he has more smarts than Demi Moore. He gets over that. And by the end of the movie, he's not doing that. In fact, they're pretty much working as a very functional team where he becomes clear that he doesn't kind of know how the fuck to do this and decides to give it a try. And she's a terrible trial lawyer, which is very clear.
But why is he perfect?
Well, he's perfect. I mean, look, like
because he's like, Tom Cruise.
No, I know.
But
and
it's plot-wise that he's not supposed to be like.
Well,
no trial.
So this is actually part
He's
of
good at making deals.
So here's the thing that is the reason
Wrong
that
asshole.
the reason that I love this movie and the reason that I became a defense attorney or a courtroom lawyer because of this movie is that he has this fucking irritating. He has this thing that you can have and be a good trial attorney, and it is real and it exists in annoying places, and most of us are dicks, guys. Trial lawyers are terrible people. You should not be friends with us. But there is this instinctual conversational ability that Sorkin writes really well. That is, it feels very real to a courtroom, especially given that Sorkin's not a lawyer, because frankly, it really does feel very real. That it's like he knows the length of pauses to take. He knows the question to ask. He knows when to back off. He knows when to go. Hard. And it's a skill. It's a manipulative, shitty skill that you do not have to be a person who studies a lot or a person who is a good person to be good at, which is why we're all assholes who don't work very hard who win cases. And that's what this movie is about. And yet it's also about a dude realizing that morality has value. And that there are moral rights and wrongs, that there are good guys and bad guys, and that they're not that Jack Nicholson's character is a guy worth taking down, and that's something he wants to do, where previously he didn't want to do friggin' anything. And that resonates a lot with me. I mean, honestly, the Jack Nicholson quote from this movie that resonates always the most with me, "You can't handle the truth, don't get me wrong." I would argue it is the best moment in any courtroom drama ever. I think it is the most powerful witness on the stand lawyer moment in a courtroom drama, period. But the one that is, and this is where it's all about masculinity, the last line Jack Nicholson says is, "I'm gonna rip off your head and piss in your dead skull. You fucked with the wrong Marine," which is insane. And terrifying.
I hope it's the only improv in the movie.
And like, what the fuck, Jack Nicholson? And that's where, I mean, that's that thing about, like, you know, the movie is really about the interplays of, there's a toxicity to both Tom Cruise's masculinity and Jack Nicholson's masculinity, and the movie doesn't actually fully excuse either. I also like that the movie does not end with, like, a giant swelling kiss at the end. Like, Tom Cruise is still kind of a dick, and, like, Demi Moore has gotten to the point where she basically, like, they like each other fine now, and maybe they'll get together because whatever, but, like, it's not like some rom-com. There's toxicity to both their masculinities, but the toxicity that Jessup brings is really, really evil in a way that, I don't know, I like the way that it plays with that.
I got distracted about 10 minutes ago, I think, so I wanted to, Lee, have you been able to have your counterpoint?
Not fully.
Let's hear it.
So I am going to preface this saying I really, really, really dislike Tom Cruise.
This is our third Tom Cruise movie.
I have avoided Tom Cruise for the majority of my life, and then I started this podcast. So...
Sorry.
Preface. Second, he's also an actor who just kind of plays himself in that role. Like, I fully believe that Tom Cruise is this much of an asshole 100% of the time.
That seems right.
We have seen him play an asshole 3 times now.
Yeah.
No, it's completely true. Like, yeah.
So
We've
that's
reviewed
why
Magnolia, Rain Man.
and Rain Man, and I
He's a
fully
very
believe.
different. To his credit, he's a very different kind of asshole in Magnolia than he is in the other 2 movies. You gotta give him that. He's not the same asshole.
That's
He's
true.
a different asshole.
They are nuanced assholes every time.
Fair.
Sure. Still an asshole. Still not somebody I want to watch for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and go about his life and try to convince me that he's the good guy. Like, no, sorry, not gonna happen. He was annoying and cocky to a fault, and I never felt like he got the punch in the face he deserved by the plot or anything else. Like, every little setback they had was a little setback. Nothing was a game loser for them. So that was frustrating. Like, it would have been very satisfying to watch this movie and have Tom Cruise lose.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been a better ending to this movie, honestly.
The one thing I want to say about that is those 2 guys would have gone to jail for a long time when they were clearly not the
Which
main
would have,
culprit.
like, that would have made me care about it more. But this is a movie that's set up. It's like, okay, Tom Cruise is going to win. He's going to get these 2 guys off. They're going to be fine.
Well, and maybe it's because I am a cocky asshole, but for me, it's about a cocky asshole realizing that he actually has to work and think to make something happen.
Oh no, he has to do a job.
But like, and again, maybe this is the whole trial lawyer thing. But there is an element, and don't get me wrong, it is also gendered, and this is a place like I will be the last person to defend Aaron Sorkin's gender shit. Although I do think that this is one of his least offensive.
And I was still offended watching this.
I mean, yeah,
Numerous times.
It's still got its props, but it is his least problematic gender thing.
Christ.
Yeah, no, yeah. But there is, I don't know, that Tom Cruise is playing a character I relate to, which is sort of horrifying, but very true for me. And I think that's probably why this movie works for me, and I recognize that says more about me than it does about the movie.
Well, I guess do a little bit of a cap on Tom Cruise, and then we talk a little more about the film as a whole. For me, like, I still really like this movie. I find it such a watchable, likable, different type of movie. Just his charm didn't really work for me this time, and partly because his transition to me felt very choppy, whereas everything else felt very smooth. It really was like, in the middle of one scene, he decides to like change his entire life philosophy, and then it is like no hesitation about it ever again. And it is, you know, inspired by like The Verdict, Paul Newman film.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it as smoothly. But The Verdict is more of a character thing than a really plot thing. As a plot story, this movie I think succeeds very well because almost every courtroom drama movie we see, it's always a murder trial. And it's about like who did it, innocent client or guilty client. And this is a lot more difficult than that because we definitely know who had a physical act that made someone stop being alive. And it's about whether or not whether they are truly guilty and examining the nature of being a soldier and what it means to reprogram yourself to be the best soldier.
Yeah. Not even a soldier, to be a Marine in Guantanamo.
Well, and a Marine under
enemy.
Colonel Jessup as...
Who is,
So one of the things I like about this movie that I think is particularly interesting, now that we've come full circle on Gitmo being a place we care about, is that in 1992, Gitmo is like the movie sort of starts, part of the eventually irrelevant instigation for all this is about a fence line shooting. The idea that somebody from Cuba that somebody fired on somebody from Cuba because they believed that Cuba was firing on us. And there is something about it's fundamentally ridiculous. At Gitmo, in 1992, we are not really on an active war line. And Jessup's outdated, has this clinging to this view, this they stand on a wall view. The only moment of this movie that I hate and I think doesn't work is when Demi Moore endorses that they stand on a wall bit, because I think the whole movie is condemning that, and it makes no sense for her character to endorse it. But that's like the one part of this movie that doesn't work for me.
I weirdly liked it. I thought it was a forced scene, I guess, but like...
About Sorkin.
Well, yeah, but it has this idea of like, there are soldiers who we are training to be the best of the best, to always be heroes in the scariest situations, and to go beyond the call of duty to defend our country. And Jessup is taking that as the extremity of all times, but that's also how we train soldiers.
Right.
If you're training in Cuba, you're still training to the 110% as you were if you were planning to go to Afghanistan. And it's that kind of thing of like, we need the leaders to keep the soldiers safe. And Jessup did not keep these soldiers safe because they always went to be their best, and that's where the unfair lies. It was never with the soldiers who... They have to be the ones to stay on the wall. And to me, that's what Demi Moore was defending, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, it's not like
soldiers do that. Leaders have to lead the soldiers to somewhere.
Well, but I mean, I think that the whole point is of the... I mean, it's Jessup's masculinity and, you know, piss in your dead skull insanity, machoism, has its place. Like, the movie never suggests that who he is not useful in a way. It's just, it's out of place. It is, and when out of place, it is incredibly destructive. And I like that. I like that complicated view. Very often movies are about, frankly, particularly movies about masculinity, are about deciding which is best. And I don't think the movie is really saying that Jessup is always the villain every time. That this person shouldn't exist.
I thought the movie was like very clear, actually, that no, he did something wrong because he gave an order that was illegal that resulted in a death. So he is responsible, but his character isn't necessarily someone
he killed a weak kid. I mean, like, but yeah, right. But then at the same time, like, the futility of him being like in Gitmo on like a sunny day in Cuba, where no one in this movie ever fires a gun, like
drinking tea at like
drinking
a nice
tea,
table
right?
And
Exactly, and applying for Homeland Security. Like, it's about the toxicity of that attitude. Oh God, I fucking love this movie, and I've watched it so many times, and it has so many flaws, and like I know, but like, I love it.
Yeah,
those are my feels.
So it should be on the list.
I do think it should be on the list. I think it would be. I would fight somebody who said this shouldn't be on the list. Like, this is.
It shouldn't be on the list.
This is one of the greatest courtroom dramas of all time. Like,
I'll give you that. It's also a fantastic example of toxic masculinity for 2.5 hours.
I think that it's very aware that it's a movie about
No.
toxic
It is
masculinity.
not aware of it because it is Aaron Sorkin.
I mean,
no.
Okay, I agree that it is not aware of the toxicity of Tom Cruise's masculinity. It is about the toxicity of Jessup's masculinity.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Oh no, like, look. Aaron Sorkin's a fucktard who I love and made me who I am. I recognize the irony. But yeah, it's my favorite movie ever.
Pedro, weird question.
Yeah.
You know who Aaron Sorkin is, right?
Yeah, newsroom guy.
Okay.
He's blind.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he totally is.
He types by touch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I swear I saw an interview with him. He's not blind.
He's not.
Also The West Wing, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
also, let's see.
Sports Night, Social Network.
That's the
Charlie
one.
Wilson's
But
War. Those are the big ones.
Ooh, I like that one.
I watched season 1 of The Newsroom with Pedro, and
God, he's so
whenever
satisfied.
a Sorkin character, like, I felt like was just making me gag, Pedro's all in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Everyone should have read Don Quixote in the original Spanish. That's who these people are. That's why they gravitate towards each other, and that's why they want to redefine how the news is. I'm cool with that.
All right, let's hinge this.
I have so many more things to say, but maybe I'll just make my own podcast about it. I love it so much.
A Few Good Men and One Great Woman. Coming soon to the Art Immortal.
Oh my god.
No, but hinge it.
Oh, well, okay, look. This is my favorite movie, literally, of all time. I've re-ranked my favorite movies a million times, and it's always at the top. I recognize its flaws. This is a 4.7.
4?
3.7.
4.
Give it a 3.5. It's a 2-hour-long episode of Jag.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just go watch 2 episodes of Jag.
Or watch this movie.
There are 10 seasons
back-to-back
of Jag.
episodes.
You can watch lots
Oh my
of
god,
Jag.
I'm gonna start watching all of Jag. That's what Sarah's gonna start doing forever.
Include talking to third person?
Yeah.
Never mind, that podcast will not be on this network.
No.
But we have another movie to review this week, so buckle in, podcast listeners, because we got a little film called Alien.
Did you want something?
Yes, I had a little talk. How's Kane?
He's holding, no changes.
And our guest?
Oh.
Hmm?
Well, as I said, I'm still collating, actually, but I have confirmed that he's got an outer layer of protein polysaccharides. He has a funny habit of shedding his cells and replacing them with polarized silicon, which gives him a prolonged resistance to adverse environmental conditions. Is that enough?
That's funny. What does it mean?
Please don't do that. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's an interesting combination of elements, making him a tough little son of a bitch.
And you let him in.
I was obeying a direct order, remember?
Ash, when Dallas and Kane are off the ship, I'm senior officer.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
You also forgot the Science Division's basic quarantine law.
No, that I didn't forget.
Oh, I see. You just broke it. Huh?
Look, what would you have done with Kane? Hmm? You know his only chance of survival was to get him in here.
Unfortunately, by breaking quarantine, you risk everybody's life.
Maybe I should have left him outside. Maybe I've jeopardized the rest of us, but it was a risk I was willing to take.
It's a pretty big risk for a science officer. It's not exactly out of the manual, is it?
I do take my responsibilities as seriously as you know. You do your job, and let me do mine, yes?
Alien is the 1979 horror sci-fi classic. It is an original film that spawned several sequels, a spin-off franchise, a sort of spin-off that's now come back to be a main sequel. It's a popular thing.
It's great.
It is the film debut of Ridley Scott, and it is far in the future, where this crew, who are basically kind of blue-collar space workers, they're scavengers working for big corporations. They are out there in the depths of space. They have a signal coming from a planet. They decide to go check it out. It is weird as all hell. They find a life form. The life form breaks into the helmet and attaches itself to John Hurt's face. And then things get drastically worse from there.
Freaky.
This film is noted for the look, not only of the alien itself, which is designed by H.R. Giger, the surrealist artist, and its creepy atmosphere on the ship, but it's a nuanced cat and mouse horror aspects. I've seen this film too many times. Who hadn't seen this one?
I haven't.
Oh.
Lee, I got a couple questions for you then.
Okay.
How did you watch this?
We watched it on Blu-ray, actually.
you and the echoes within the realm of the old gods?
Yes.
Cool. Was it bright or dark where you were?
I watched it about 2 in the afternoon is when we started it, so it was a little bright outside. We did try to close all the curtains because we had blackout curtains for some reason. I don't know. I was in a really weird theater room. I just went with it.
So did you find it scary?
No. But because I have seen Sunshine.
Okay.
And I feel like that one is a scarier horror movie, but but kind of similar plotting. Again, it's a space crew up in space. They have to fix a thing. Shit starts happening. There's not really an alien well, there's kind of an alien aspect. Anyway, great movie. Love it. I really enjoyed Alien, though. I do have a couple critiques. But overall, I think it was fantastic. We did watch it on Blu-ray on a 4K TV. So the one thing I was really, really happy about is that it completely looked real. Like, I knew that they were models, but the models looked good. And
they were real good.
The stage and the sets look amazing, and the practical effects are so great. So that was one thing I really enjoyed. I weirdly have seen Prometheus.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I haven't, but that's just a weird thing to see before you've seen Alien.
Yeah, again, it was one of those things, like, I kind of happened into it. It's not like I sat down and was like, I'm going to watch Prometheus. Someone was watching it, and I happened to be there when they were watching it as well. So because I've seen that, the twist of the movie was spoiled for me, but not, like, explicitly so. It was one of those, like, oh, this character is an android in Prometheus. This character that is acting very similar, probably an android.
Yes, that is true. We're just going to spoil Alien now.
Go watch Alien.
Androids become a major part of the franchise. The android in Aliens is said he's an android in the very first scene.
Yeah.
In this one, Ian Holm, a.k.a. Bilbo, is revealed to be alien later. And Android later. Apologies. It's so I'm alone.
Yeah.
In liking Prometheus more than Alien.
It's weird. That's a weird appeal.
And that might not be
not
real.
Actually.
I think they were equal. They were two different movies trying to do two different things. I feel.
I mean, that's certainly true of Alien and Aliens. They're very, very different.
But Prometheus ties together better with Alien than Aliens because part of the reason why I like Prometheus so much, and they hint upon this in Alien, is that the alien creature is genetically superior than a human being. Prometheus takes a step further in saying that God prefers the alien over humans. And it's God saying it's now the alien's turn to reign. But in both plot scenarios, you have, in this case, the android and alien saying, this is genetically better than you. Its defense is, like, it has acid come out of it for defense. Like, this is designed to be better.
Acid that burns through, like, everything. Like, everything it touches. Like, it never runs out of power. It never, like, it'll just cold kill you.
It'll run out of power eventually.
The corporation in this one says, even, preserve the alien. I don't care about the crew anymore. Mm-hmm. The humans are expendable now. And that is very just to me as a religious aspect of that. And it's hinted upon here, and it's expanded more in Prometheus.
That's interesting, because I took it a little differently, because after having watched this, after having seen Prometheus, like, I guess it had been forever since I saw Alien, because I remember they came across a ship, and they found the eggs. Mm-hmm. I completely must have blocked out the part where there is a smart alien body that seems to have their chest burst open.
Yeah,
like,
real quick about that.
Those guys.
The space jockey.
Yeah.
Real quick, like, they happen upon this alien life form, and this was a question I asked, and I didn't get an answer because I was by myself. But do they know that aliens exist in this universe?
I think
not to this level.
Okay, then why the fuck weren't they freaking out more? Like, if I would have been like, hey, I'm a miner, I don't have much scientific background, I'm just the normal guy on a space crew, oh, holy shit, here's a motherfucking alien.
Yeah, it's true. They do remarkably well in terms of their, like, general composure, given that fact. Like, I didn't find it unrealistic, but I think it increases my my esteem for the characters.
Well, could it be because John Hurt died so early? That they are more focused on their friend being killed? They don't
No, like,
have any-
as soon as
they
see
kind
it
of
for the
brush
first
off
time.
they brush off the alien in the cockpit and like
Pretty quick, yeah.
like that part. See, I also kind of thought that they should have been more surprised by that, not necessarily by the eggs, because those could be just like anything. It could have been brought from whatever people. But when they noticed that this is definitely like a humanoid type thing that's not a human, maybe they should have been more.
Well,
I don't know.
No, when they were getting the distress signal, one of the questions they asked was, "Is it human?"
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So
they
I
probably know
aliens
something.
exist in this world. The crew knows it. The company knows that the alien specifically that the ship is going towards is this kind of super killer.
I think so too,
virus.
because going off of Prometheus, they know that these guys went on an expedition and never came back. Maybe signals came back from an SOS of whatever. I think Wayland Co. definitely thought there's this thing that Wayland has been going after for a while. That was like a couple 100 years ago. But, let's keep our eyes open because space is real big.
Mm-hmm.
What I took away from this film, having watched it after Prometheus, I actually didn't go the God route. I actually went more of the weapons route. I saw them as a perfectly engineered biological weapon. What happens when you unload an a weapon bay full of these eggs onto a major city? You're going to have little things crawling all over, and then just like a group of smart enough crazy ass aliens just go in and wipe you out. It's basically a destruction machine created by an intelligent creature. Now, it kind of does backfire on them if they don't handle it smart, which is why I think they kind of have, let's keep this off planet when we build and create our crazy arsenal. But I actually thought of it more that way.
I think that's what Alien is going for more.
Yeah.
The corporation thinks they can control it because they are a sci-fi corporation.
Right. That's pretty much what.
And that's what they always think they can do. A lot of it's told from this, though. But it's like that because there's similarities to the way like you see Warhawks depicted in these kind of films with the way of Ash, who is the android, who is his allegiance is towards the corporation. I love that performance by Ian Holm, and I love the character of Ash because he is Hal askewed, whereas Hal from 2001 is loyal towards an unspecified theology, a larger purpose in life and creation. Ash is loyal towards a corporation.
Yeah.
And it's different kind of agendas, but still like the same kind of heartlessness towards the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And to have an extension like that, and to where he is idolizing how good the alien is at killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the dumbest version of this in cinema is when Wilson Fisk says we should have raptors go to Iraq, which is a subplot in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
The dumb movie.
So I have never seen Prometheus and have sort of when I first saw Alien had no knowledge of any like larger ideas or franchise and watched it purely as a horror sci-fi movie. And to me, that's the level on which it works the best.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think most of its idea delivery is a little choppy, but as a pure jump scare horror movie, I really think this can't be beat. I was saying when I was watching it, the moment that the moment that Sigourney Weaver is alone with that fucking cat who kills everybody. By the way, the fact that everyone is trying to get the cat is why everybody dies.
Okay,
cats are the
but
worst.
would you leave the cat behind?
Oh, he's so cute.
Yes.
He's such a fluffy
Cute.
kitty.
I love pets. I really
Yeah,
love
no,
pets.
but no, they make all the wrong decisions. Like they should cold not have tried to save that cat. That was a bad plan.
But the best human on the ship saved the cat.
Fair. but
weeding out.
But
in her dumbest move.
yeah, it was real dumb.
For no reason. She just didn't leave yet.
Anyway, what I'm saying is the period of time where she's the only person on the ship with the alien, and then particularly the time when she's on the escape pod and the alien is there, or it's an escape pod, right? It's so good. It's so fucking scary. And it's funny that it didn't have the impact this time that it did the first time, but like the first time I watched this movie, I was straight hiding under a pillow terrified. I was so scared. And that's a good thing. That's a good horror movie. It's so well done. And even this time, like the moment when the alien looks like it's part of the pipe of the escape pod.
That was really cool.
Like, oh fuck. Like, it's great every time. It's great.
Yep.
It's great stuff.
Adam, did you get scared?
No, not really. I saw it today in the afternoon, so I didn't really get scared. Also, I'm inhuman. So I've seen this movie before, but a long time ago, and since then I've read, I've gotten most part of the way through the screenwriting book that the screenwriter of this movie wrote.
Oh, which was that?
It's called Dan O'Bannon's Guide to Screenwriting.
Ironically, that person did not write Save the Cat.
Right.
Which happens here.
That's really funny.
Yeah, but
at the end of the movie.
Right. But Save the Cat, the book, was written after this, so I wonder if partially taking a cue.
Same cat on the cover.
Yeah. So it's interesting because in the book, he says that there wasn't really any kind of hard and fast screenwriting rules when he was writing Alien. So I was kind of paying attention to how it was structured, and there are certain things that, like in Save the Cat, has like crossing the threshold into Act 2. It's usually you literally go through a door into a special world of Act 2, and that was kind of hard to find in this one. But I think it was when they came in. Dallas and came in with John Hurt.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Came back onto the ship, even though none of those three ended up being the main characters.
Yeah,
like Ripley is the main character. So it's just like stuff like that is putting a twist on what's expected was really interesting because they just didn't have rules for how to write a screenplay.
Well, with Ripley being the main character, that is a surprise essentially none of us could ever have again because I believe this was her first movie.
It was, yeah.
So this was her first film and Ridley Scott's film debut.
Yeah. At this point, she's not high build. Tom Sizemore is high build. John Hurt, Burgess Theater after this point. Harry Dean Stanton.
She was second in the credits.
Was she second in the credits?
Yeah, she's second in the credits.
After Tom Sizemore?
Who's the main guy?
The
captain.
It's Tom Sizemore, right?
No, it's something else.
Whatever. That guy, the captain. But like, it's an ensemble movie where you truly don't know who's going to survive, and at that point, Sigourney Weaver was the unknown person. Now we know Ripley as the face of the franchise. Sigourney Weaver is a very famous actress.
Tom Skerritt.
Tom Skerritt. You know, I always mix up those two names. Tom Skerritt. Yeah, so like, because now we watch them like, of course she's going to survive, but all the famous people keep dying first, which is a really great thing that rarely happens. To me, like, Ripley truly is one of the great action heroes in cinema. Watching this again, I mean, she's doing John McClane-like things, but has less bullshit than he does. He mutters around and talks to himself. She gets inside a spacesuit, opens up the escape hatch, watches that sucker get out in space.
Yep.
That's what she has to do. That was an immediate thought she had. Like, this is a good idea. She's an awesome character. To me, this film, I've never been a really huge fan of this movie. And it's always strange to me, because I'm basically like, always searching for why I don't emotionally react to this film. Every time I watch it, I like the look of the ship more. I like the look of the world more. I like the look of how dirty it is and how not sexy the ship is.
Nope. Yeah, it's a trash.
Yeah, it's a garbage truck. It's a space garbage truck. Yeah, it's not the Enterprise.
People smoke inside all the time.
Yeah.
Which totally wouldn't fly in a 21st century spaceship.
Was that a pun?
I'm smart.
Okay. So I like just watching the film. And I like how they feel used to each other in a very, like, fly-in-the-wall way for a while. To me, when the actual action part starts, when the alien leaves the chest, from then on out, the plotting to me is always very unsatisfying. Because it goes to that horror trope of, like, characters having to do really dumb decisions to make the plot work. And even though Ripley is awesome, and essentially it's bad decisions circled around an amazingly interesting plot around Ash. And about Ash's priorities and Ash's death. That is gross and amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck.
So I've always, like, I just don't care in the second half, basically.
So do you think they should have not gone after the alien and tried to get it out of the ship?
Well, they had to
should have
because
gone?
the ship couldn't support 4 people. I thought the escape pod couldn't support more than 4 people. I thought.
Well, to
Yeah,
me,
so they were stuck on the ship.
well, no, like, to me, it's a cat and mouse story, and the best cat and mouse stories are when the cat and mice are equals intellectually, or one is smart and one is smarter. This really felt like the crew is that smart. I actually felt there's a better back and forth of strategy and decision making in Aliens, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it just really kind of felt like people who, I know they're ill-equipped, and that's part of the plot, but it always kind of felt just nowhere even close to being an even battle, and that always kind of felt a bit dull to me, because the way the alien tricks them is always super interesting. Their approaches of doing anything are always really dull. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily bad, it just, I don't
No, I see what
find
you
it
mean
that
there.
incredible.
Well, and that's probably why my favorite part of the movie is the end, when Sigourney Weaver is the alien's equal in some ways.
Yeah. It's a bummer of an ending, because, well, if the film franchise ends here, she's just being drifted out into space. Hopefully this will work. Alien tells you how long it takes before she's found. It's a very sombering thing to be the lone survivor.
Yeah.
But
Except for the cat.
thank God the cat lived.
That's what matters.
And made an appearance in the second film. And I think it was the same cat.
Like, it's Jones, right? The cat's name
Jonesy.
is Jones.
Yeah,
Jonesy.
Jones.
Yeah.
I saw the second film right after this one.
Did you?
And I saw the first hour of the director's cut before the film.
Oh, wow, okay.
I watched a lot of Alien.
Have you ever seen Alien 3?
Is that the one where they trap a bunch of aliens in a room, and then one alien is like, "Guys, kill me," and then they kill him so that the acid sprays everywhere and breaks it out?
There's no alien dialogue scene in the whole franchise.
Well, you see it like nod somberly,
I don't think
and then its
so.
buddies kill it.
Forgot that part. I don't think so.
Was this a dream you had, Pedro?
No, there's definitely a scene. I think, although now I think I'm imagining more scenes because, like, while I was watching Alien, I was like, "Oh, I thought this was supposed to happen. That must be in Aliens." Then I was watching Aliens, I was like, "Where the fuck is the scene I've been looking for?" So it could be.
There's a lot of basketball in Alien Resurrection.
I think I saw part of
Okay.
that. Anyway,
It's time to hedge.
yeah.
Wait,
Wait.
someone should like final thoughts, because I don't want to, like, this is
I got
super beloved film. Okay, Lee, go.
So I am notorious about not seeing movies and referencing them because I pick things up from pop culture. So I was really excited. Like the past week, I've learned lots of pop culture references, like where they originate, which is really exciting. One thing I will say that I could not avoid, the chest burster scene. As soon as it jumped out of John Hurt's chest, like I wanted it to start singing.
Because of the thing from Looney Tunes?
No, because of Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah, because of Spaceballs. That's fair.
Like,
There's
I've
also a Looney Tunes thing
Yeah.
where the frog jumps out.
But John Hurt reprises his role in Spaceballs.
And it's great. It's a great moment.
I think you're thinking of Spaceballs when the alien comes out and does a Looney Tunes bit.
That's probably what I'm thinking
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Rest in peace, John Hurt.
Yeah,
Aw.
I didn't catch that. I only found out like weeks later that he died.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, it was
he's
weird.
dead.
It was like, "He's dead," you know? I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Well, we've been in another realm.
Yeah,
News travels slow.
yeah.
Anywho, hinges. 3.7.
Monster.
4.7.
4.7.
4.1.
4.
All right, that is the film Alien. Check it out, and then check out Aliens, and then don't check out Alien 3. Don't check out Alien Resurrection. Definitely don't check out the Alien vs. Predator series. And then, you like them?
No, I've never seen them.
I've seen the first one, not seen the second one. I was just guessing.
I like the idea.
And check out Prometheus, and then Prometheus 2, aka Alien 7, I guess.
Yeah.
Alien Covenant comes out next month.
Oh, shit. That's a thing?
Yeah.
They're doing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
James Franco, Danny McBride, Michael Fassbender.
It says
Other people?
goofy cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a prequel, a prologue prequel thing go out online. It was cool.
Oh.
Anywho, that's a whole thing. Just like this is a whole thing. Lee, what did we listen to this week?
This week we listened to La Rouge by the Young Gods. This is their second album. It came out, sorry, I had my notes minimized. It came out in 1989, September of 1989. It is an interesting album, if I can say that.
You can.
Yeah. It's, so Young Gods are a Swiss band, which you don't get very often. So that was exciting. They sing in French for the most part, from what I could tell. And their musical style is very different.
That's a word.
It's different in an awesome way.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot. I didn't even mean to listen to it, and Austin had it on in the background, and I was super into it.
No, like, I turned it on this morning, and I was like, well, this is weird, but I love it. And then I listened to it for half the day, even though it's only a half-hour-long album.
So, and this is not a way to judge art, but I think I prefer my more experimental music in a different language, because oftentimes the lyrics of experimental music is what throws me out of it, because they're often dumb.
Yeah.
And they may be super dumb here, but I didn't look it up.
I mean, it's called Red Water, so probably.
See, already took me out a little bit.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, don't read the Wikipedia page, because it gives you the translation for the song titles, and they're
Not
dumb.
interested.
They're real dumb.
Because, perhaps that's why I need to do more about experimental music in English, because this has such a cool vibe that goes from, like, dark to crazy in a really accessible way. Because, like, when things start to really, like, intensify, like, near the 6-minute mark in the first song, it's awesome. And it's really cool. And it's, I don't know, it's like a fun, dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. The first song reminded me of, like, a crazy horror carnival.
Oh, sure.
Because, like, it has the Wurlitzer sound in it, and eventually it picks up and it has, like, violins and other things, and it just kind of sounds like a carnival in a Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah. And it almost...
In a good way.
Yes, because I don't really want to watch a Rob Zombie film.
No, I get it. Like, it is just heavy enough that I am interested and intrigued and want to continue to listen to it. And it's not so heavy that it's exhausting to listen to, if this makes sense at all. So, yeah, like, this was a really weird and interesting album, and it's one of those that, like, I'm glad I listened to it, and it's opened me up to a whole new realm of possibilities with music. But I feel like it would be really difficult to find any other similar bands to this. Like, I don't think I could go to the record shop and, like, hey, can you give me something similar to Young Gods?
I'd love to hear their answer.
That would be pretty fun, though.
And obviously we have a bias because we're not a big fan of the old gods, and this is a new choice, really. but I don't know. There something about this originality. Isn't this their second album?
Yeah, this is their second album, which is crazy. Like, sometimes you get, like, they'll just come out of the gate with crazy, weird, experimental things, and that's kind of their shtick. And I haven't listened to any Young Gods before, so I don't know if this is what their first album is like at all, but this is, like, a type of experimental that you usually get further into someone's career.
It's true, and it's really effective. Like, nothing felt jarring or out of style the rest of the album. It all blended together really well.
Yeah, I listened to it as a track, like one track, and it was very easy to consume as a whole, and there was never a part of the album where I was bored or it felt odd or out of place. It was very cohesive and very, I don't know, a nice whole piece of something.
All right, ready for hinges?
Yeah, sure. I'll give this a 4. It's definitely worth listening to if you're into heavier metal kind of sound. Wikipedia has them listed as post-industrial or something ridiculous. It's a heavy kind of electronic sound. Totally recommend if you're into that kind of thing. I am going to try to listen to these guys more often because they're pretty cool.
I'm going to come back to this album. I'd also give it a 4. Sarah, do you have any hinges?
I feel like I didn't listen to quite enough of it, but I will listen to more of it.
You know, you listened to, like, it was only a half-hour album.
Oh, in that case, it was awesome. I'll give it a 4.
Okay. Yeah, I think you might have heard at least 25
true.
to 30 minutes.
It was great. I just assumed that I only heard like half of it, but if I heard the whole thing, like, it was really great.
It's a really short album.
Cool.
All right, Lee, I'm going to trust you to say the title better.
Low, maybe? I don't know. It's
Yes,
French.
Low Rouge.
Low Rouge. There we go.
All right, by the Young Gods, take a listen. Sarah, when you were in the realm of the old gods, did you find this thing?
No.
The food?
No, it's Boldo Leaf, and it's a thing, and often it's sold as like a supplement, and I found it in pill form, but not in food form.
I would have eaten the pill.
Nope, that's not food. That's pills.
We have something to eat later, don't worry.
Yeah.
But now it's the song segment.
It is.
Peter, what did we listen to this week?
Life in a Northern Town by Dream Academy. The Dream Academy.
Pushing the town away.
How the fuck did you find a printer here?
Here?
Yeah, in the
There's
old
a
gods
room
realm.
that's just printers.
I just kind of, I opened a door, I reached in, papers.
It's just Wikipedia for this song.
Yeah.
Every damn time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what is this?
This is a song by I already did this, by the Dream Academy. Came out in 1985. It was from their album, The Dream Academy, because it was. And it's pretty good. Wikipedia has it listed as Baroque pop. I call it more of a weird pop rock.
It's like a folky pop rock thing.
Sure.
There is already a weird pop rock, and that is in the food segment.
I do love pop rocks. Okay, I'll say rock pop.
Thank you.
They don't have one of those, do they?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when you freeze like a Diet Coke into a song.
Okay.
Sure. So, I like the song because it is very pleasing to the ears in its chords, if that makes sense.
It does have nice chords.
It's not an offensive song in that there are no jarring sounds that will make you actively dislike it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's really pleasant.
It works in the same spectrum as that album, where like I can just put my feet up and listen to this for a long time, but that one's crazy, and this one's really pleasant. In fact, the chorus is almost hypnotic.
It is. It's very hypnotic, actually. I mean, if you're feeling a little melancholy, listen to this. You'll be like, oh, okay, like the world spins on. Or if you're happy, be like, yeah, I'm cool. Or not cool. My mood is good. Happy feelings in things. Because song is good.
Your emotions confuse me.
It's very strange.
I bounce around.
I feel this is most of your day.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
This song was on a mixtape that somebody gave me when I was, like, at the time in history where the only way you listen to new music is because your friends gave you mix CDs. Like, that was, like, a thing.
Who was this guy?
No, it's like a friend of mine. It was not a person who was a man.
Oh.
It was a person who was a girl. I didn't have boyfriends in middle school.
That was almost a cliffhanger of, like, it wasn't a person.
And, like, I actually think that this was a mixtape given to my brother, who then gave it to me. But I definitely didn't know who wrote this song or what it was called for a long time. I just really liked it. And then I learned what it was. And I like this song. It's got some it's got a really distinctive flavor to it in the way that one-hit wonders often do, and I like it.
This was their highest charting song, and it actually charted in the top 10 in the U.S. I think it was number 7 in the Billboard Hot 100. It also got a couple of other Billboard credits, number 7 for something else, and number 2 for something else. I forget what they are. But, yeah, it's pretty... What's interesting is David Gilmour from Pink Floyd has a producer credit on this. Because one of the writers, Nick Laird-Close, was in a previous band with David Gilmour's brother. And David Gilmour got convinced to produce this, which is kind of cool, I thought. Nick Laird-Crowe, or whatever, he went on to do other things, including to write a little bit for Pink Floyd's Division Bell, which is interesting. Sure. I just like how they have so much ties with Pink Floyd. It just seems like a real lucky thing for them.
So I've heard this chorus before, and I'm not sure if it's in this song or if this chorus has been sampled.
It has been sampled into something. Like, there's something on the Wikipedia page where it's been sampled big, but yes, it's been sampled a lot of places.
Okay.
Girl Talk samples it, among others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a cover, too, by someone that had notable mention on Wikipedia. Sugarland?
Yeah.
You heard of them, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Spielberg's second film.
Sure.
Huh. Well, I guess he covered this song.
It's not.
It's not. He's lying. He's a liar.
Oh,
It's Sugarland Express.
gotcha. Oh, yeah. That's a film. Anyway, I like the song. There's not a lot you can say about it apart from it's nice.
It's very pleasing.
Yeah.
I'm happy stopping here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hinge it.
4.5.
4.2.
4.3.
I found it to be a little bland, so I'm going to say 3.2.
Sure.
I'm gonna go 3.
All right. That is...
Something Northern... Life in a Northern Town by
Life in a Northern
the
Town.
Dream Academy.
Nailed it. All right, Adam, what did we read this week?
Yes, we read a book of poetry called Gargling with Jelly by Brian Patton. And this is a book that is just several, about maybe like 100 poems, published in 1985 originally. And it looks like a children's book. The illustrations are fun and goofy.
It's apparently one of the 1,001 children's books you must read before you grow up.
Yes, that's what they say. However, I would never read this to a child of mine because
It's fucking dark.
yeah, we've read some like dark books with murders and stuff like that, but this is a lot of these poems. The message of a lot of these poems is life is pointless. We're all going to die, and just have fun with your life, I guess, is kind of the point.
And on that note, let's quickly fulfill a promise that we made on last week's show when we announced this book.
Yes.
Which Pedro said he was going to gargle real jelly.
You have jelly. Yeah.
Ugh.
I was hoping you did.
Really. Okay.
So meanwhile,
I was going to ask you for it, but then I was like, maybe I shouldn't.
so I'll talk about what I like about some of these real quick while we're doing that. There's a lot of like goofy scenarios. Okay, no, I can't.
This is jam.
fill in.
No,
Yeah,
that's definitely jelly. It's grape
Welch's
jelly.
grape jelly.
That's the definition of jelly.
We're still live, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 Does anyone know the
It's a
Heimlich?
good spoon.
No.
No.
I'll be fine.
You can't die.
Gargle.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's because it has to be liquid. You have to be able to put bubbles through it to gargle, guys.
It doesn't work.
Interesting.
0 hedges.
That's kind of an interesting point to the book then, is that
You can't.
you can't do it. You can try.
It just goes around it and it doesn't gargle.
Yeah.
This is called choking.
That's sweet.
Like
Okay.
it sounds like a good idea, but it doesn't work.
All right, that was Pedro's contribution. So I need to also admit that I had a rough week in a light tunnel. I had this book. I was reading this book. I was enjoying this book, and then I dropped it, and it kind of fell towards the ceiling. It went through some sort of rift. I think it landed in your lap, and then you started reading it.
Yeah, I finished the whole thing.
Yeah, see, I only got about a fifth of the way through, so I read a bunch of the
sorry.
poems. No, it's okay. You didn't know to throw it back up to the ceiling.
Nah.
So I'm going to finish it tonight. Now we're back in the same room. I got the book here. But I read about 20 of the poems, and I feel it was a good sampling, but I want to finish it because it's really interesting.
Yeah. And there's some really interesting prose things that he does. There's this poem about a ship, and the words are aligned to look like a ship, like a sailboat, rather. And there's one about a boy who couldn't spell, and none of the words are spelled correctly, but you can still understand it. Did you read that one? It's toward the beginning.
Possibly. I think actually it's close to where I stopped.
Okay.
To me, like, there were like early signs. It's fun. It's, simple rhymes, enjoyable kind of visual imagery and whatnot. But then like there's an early one where it's called The Newcomer. It's all the animals talking about there's something like new in the woods and the river, and it has no beak, no claws, no feathers, no scales, no fur, no gills. It lives in the trees and the water, and the earth and the snow and the hills, and it kills and it kills and it kills.
That was the first one.
It was
like,
us.
what the fuck is this poem?
Yeah. And then things are silly. And then the saddest poem ever, which is called Burying the Dog in the Garden.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Did you read this one, Lee?
No, that sounds awful.
It's rough.
This is about these children who are burying their pet dog, and then this tall man next door says, "Animals have no souls," he said. "They must have animal souls," we said. "No," he said, and shook his head. "Do you need a soul to go to heaven?" we asked. He nodded his head. "Yes," he said. "That means my hamster's not in heaven," said Kevin. "Nor is my dog," I said. "My cat can sneak in anywhere," said Claire. "We thought what a strange place heaven must be, with nothing to stroke for eternity. We were all 7. We decided we did not want to go to heaven. For that, the tall man next door is to blame." That's most of the poem.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There are some lighter ones, but by and large, that's kind of the gist of a lot of them.
Because like we've had like dark material, and it's dark material to teach you an important lesson. And here we are, unknown number of years old. I think I still want to be in denial about that kind of lesson.
Yeah.
And it's a darkness that is.
It's
not
more of an
wrong.
emptiness than a darkness. I
It's
think.
nihilism with it.
Yeah.
And it's not. It can't really be like refuted exactly, but it's not exactly inviting to children. But also, on the other hand, when I was younger in this incarnation, I love Lemony Snicket books, and Lemony Snicket is almost a parody of that kind of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But within that parody, it is still extremely dark and bleak, and literally called a series of unfortunate events. This is different because it's masked differently.
Yeah, it's dressed up as a fun and floofy time.
Yeah, but it's good. Like it's hard to stop reading this too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just, it's not a great book for children, I think. But on the other hand, I think it's good for children to understand some of these concepts, but
I think it's not a great book for all children.
Yeah.
I think like the right kid could like really get into this and go like, man, because kids read horror stories too.
Right.
The
Goosebumps.
or the scary story for children, but like one with the girl with a ring around her neck and such.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like those are like some genuinely creepy things. Goosebumps are silly creepy.
Yeah.
But so I think like this almost works more as a horror book, I guess, than a happy book of poetry, which is exactly what it's billed and advertised as.
Yeah.
But also it's funny, happy poetry, so it's confusing.
Right.
I don't know. You want to hinge it, or because like it's a paradox.
Yeah. I mean, I really really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give it too high of a score, but I'll say 3.8.
I'll say 4.2.
Okay.
That is Gargling with Jelly by Brian Patton. Peter, how do you hinge Gargling with Jelly?
2.
Got it. All right, now it's time for the TV segment, and TV show this week is Dae Jang Geum, or Jewel of the Palace.
아저씨,
잠깐만. 아이고, 네 여기까지 웬일이냐?
저 이거예요.
너 앞으로 이런 거는 네가 들고 다니지 말고 무수리를 시켜. 너 그나저나 마침 잘 왔다. 너 지난번에 나한테 그 부탁한 게 있지? 이 미각을 찾는 데 쓴다고 말이야.
있어요?
Jewel of the Palace is a South Korean drama that ran for 1 year, it appears. South Korean TV works a bit differently in that it just keeps playing basically until the story's over. So this is 54 episodes long. It seems like it really did play for under a year, several episodes a week. And unfortunately, through my difficult light tunnel days, I was able to watch the first 3 episodes. But they were really, really interesting, and I want to finish the series because it is just not structured like any other TV show I've seen, because it really kind of knew going in it's a 54-episode story. So I feel like I just saw the beginning of the story after episode 3. Like, it's a period piece story that takes place during hundreds of years ago in South Korea. I'm pretty sure it's not based on a true story, but again, I know so little about South Korean history. It is about this royal soldier who is told he must kill the queen. So they poison the queen, and then later on he gets a prophecy saying that, you know, you'll be meeting 3 women. 1 you will kill but will not die. 1 you will save, but eventually you will lead to her death. And the 3rd one will kill you, but she will go on to save so many more. And the first 3 episodes are kind of revolved around that, where he kind of, like anyone who receives a prophecy and story, tries to go into hiding. Of course, stumbles upon the second woman who he saves also being poisoned. And as that family kind of begins, you're watching more political intrigue within the palace of dealing with trying to delegitimize this prince it was his mom, the queen, who was killed, and people who are very kind of afraid of the conspiracy being found out. And then the daughter of the soldier and the second woman, who ends up being the 3rd woman in the prophecy, as a young girl, having now dealing with being on her own, starting to become a palace lady, and kind of the royal upper class about that. And so where I left off, she was starting to get into the training within the palace, and as the conspiracy keeps continuing. And it's good. Like, it's really, like, the plot moved quickly. It's really intriguing. I typically hate prophecy stories, but that kind of trio of warning was way more interesting than A or B is going to happen. It's always A. So even as, like, this was fated to come true, it came true really fast, one thing. Didn't wait till the series finale. But it led to a more interesting story because of that. And I really kind of want to see, because now basically the main character is this young girl. The soldier is only the main character for the first few episodes, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens next. It's well made. It's very well acted. I feel there is some nuance missed on me about the time period, and about kind of, I'm a little bit lost exactly on the palace conspiracy, but if they just keep killing people off, I'll get it more. So I'm sure 5 more episodes, I got it. Yeah, this is my first introduction to South Korean drama, and I now get why people get obsessed with South Korean dramas. So, yeah, a very brief review of, unfortunately, a small fraction, but I'm going to keep working on finishing it. So, Jewel of the Palace, right now, gets a 4.4, with, but maybe later I will change it in either direction. That's it.
Cool.
Damn. Did we do it?
Shit.
We did it.
I did a TV review.
I didn't even believe.
We podcasted 70.
Look at us podcasting.
We did it, guys.
Woo!
Podcasting our podcast. The podcast.
That's a lot.
You know what? I feel we've worked hard. Pedro probably the hardest.
Sure.
Pedro, why don't you pick what our next number is?
Oh, I don't know.
Really think about a complicated reason.
I mean, 5 plus 3 is 8, so I'm going to make it 582.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to do
Perfect.
582 next week. You assholes all got on your phones, right?
Yep.
The list?
Yep.
Not me. I got my book that I brought to a room.
And I don't have anything.
Move up on your phone.
It's back in
It's
your
Oh, that's
fine.
right. That's right. You're yeah, it's the whole thing. So, 582. What film? Oh, shit. Actually, no, wait. I don't know the movie. I'm looking at the TV show, which we say later. So
Well,
look at
the
movie.
foods andouille de Vere, which is andouille sausage, which is tasty face.
I
Cool.
do like andouille.
What is the movie? Someone look that up.
The movie's Young Frankenstein.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah, it
nice.
is.
That'll be super fun.
It's a good one.
The TV show is the very beloved British documentary series Walking with Dinosaurs.
The album is Eye Against Eye by Bad Brains.
Oh boy.
You know what makes your brain bad? Venom.
Drugs.
Oh. Venom is the author of a song called Black Metal.
Cool.
That's the song.
I saw what he was doing.
My brain turned off for a bit. I couldn't keep it up.
Bad brain.
Well, that'll happen.
Bad brain.
The children's book is Doraemon, Gadget Cat from the Future by Fujiko
What?
Fujio.
That sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing, but just as an educated guess, don't hold your breath for a review next week. This, if I know my gadget cats from the future, and I do, this may be harder to get, but not impossible. That's all of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are what we'll do next week. So, until then, go to theartofmore.com, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about Alien, Few Good Men stuff. While you're there, check out the other podcasts, like Let's Take 5, where tomorrow's episode is about School of Rock. Hell yeah. You can check out Ad Absurdum, where the pop culture legal team talks about The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
New episode coming out next week. Twitter, The Immortals Pod. The Immortals at theartofmore.com. Leave a review on iTunes. And also, I just want to say real fast that even though we've been walking around the realm of the old gods for quite a bit now, I feel like we've got really accustomed to this little hiding hole. It feels like we've done roughly 69 episodes here. It almost as if we've done our first episode here, but we'll never do another episode here again. So it's a farewell to this spot, and perhaps the audio will be a little bit different elsewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
But goodbye to this piece of land, and we will go venture onwards.
Oh. Bye.
No, I mean, a pause for dramatic effect. You can say goodbye to the land if you want to.
Bye.
See ya.
I'm gonna say goodbye to the folks at home
Yeah, all that.
who aren't doing shit to find Bethany, but thankfully are listening to the show. So thank you all for listening. I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I'm Pedro.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Ash, can you hear me?
No.
Ash!
Check the tower logs, for Christ's sake.
What was your special order?
This is ridiculous.
What was it?
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die.
In a damn company. What about our lives, you son of a bitch?
Ever put your life in another man's hands? Asked him to put his life in yours?
How do we kill it, Ash? There's gotta be a way of killing it. How? How do we do it?
You ever served in an infantry unit, son? Ever served in a forward area?
Bullshit.
You snotty little bastard.
You admire it.
That's right.
I've heard enough of this, and I'm asking you to pull the plug.
I'll answer the question.
What?
You can't handle the truth.